And today, they have all made a significant impact in making a difference and giving back that life for people who otherwise would have died, like my first patients. And when I see all of this, it goes back to my house surgeon days when Madras had one electrocardiogram. Our professor of medicine, Dr. Ratha Subramaniam, he would lock it at 5 o'clock, go away. So the next morning, all night we would have seen patients and would have written the requisitions. He'll say, now prioritize any 20 of those that we will do today. And then it will go to a cinema studio to develop that film. So that is the ECG. I don't think you all would have seen it, except maybe one or two in the whole crowd. Today, electrocardiograms has become Indian community, and the world is going to be very grateful for the great work that GenWorks has done. And I'm very happy that GE and Wipro, especially what he has done and what he is doing for charity, giving 50% away of his property for charities. I thank him and I congratulate Wipro and GE for this, and thank you GenWorks for giving us this modality so that a BCG is done in a remote place. The doctor can keep the instrument, but he can't learn all about it in no time because he has many things to do. So I'm happy that you have brought a great initiative to see that people in the remotest places get this benefit. It brings me back, when we did the first satellite telemedicine. You know how it happened? My village was connected to Hyderabad and to the exhibition grounds when then President of the United States, Bill Clinton, came to India, and we told him to inaugurate satellite medicine in the world. So he said, what, in the world? And anyway, let me see. But his daughter was goading him, Dad, you do it, it's fantastic. So anyway, he just unveiled, and he saw in my village a young girl, 14-year-old, being examined, and the cardiologist, Dr. Seshagir Rao, our first cardiologist in Apollo, he was reading that echo there, and then told the mother of the child, saying, you've got a hole in the heart, and when it's during vacation, you bring us to Apollo, and then we'll patch this up, and when school reopens, you can rejoin the school. He didn't stop there. He said the next word, saying, your daughter will lead a normal life. Tears ran down Bill Clinton's eyes. He told me, Dr. Reddy, this is a very, very wonderful thing that you've done. The rest of the world should follow your lead so that people in the remote places can get the benefit of high-tech medicine. This is what GenWorks has given today. Even if we give ECG at that time, we'll make it happen. Thank you. Because Abbott has done many things in medicine. In many ways, the doctors are thankful. The patients are grateful for their contribution into medicine. And what they have done in this work is to find out not after the heart attack comes, but to predict, saying that you have got a risk, you've got a moderate risk, and you've got a high risk for a heart attack. And of course, we all know, the cardiologists have described saying you've got 1 to 10, and you're graded as your risk is 3, your risk is 4, risk is 5. But I think if you combine this and all those risks could be eliminated. So I think this is where Abbott's great work in this is going to help. First, we did it for all our employees. I'll come back to you why we did it on all of our employees. 80,000 of them will have this test done, because we have already done another study with Microsoft for this prediction. All that I'm going to request them is, can we combine these two and see that we get a better result for the patients. First of all, we are grateful to you. Grateful to you for doing this, but please, this is only a beginning. I am looking for a day when this is actually going to help the doctor, the cardiologist, to tell him, saying, look, you are in tune to get a heart attack in the next few weeks or few months, but you do this, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure that's the day when we can say, like in cancer, we had a conference in this hotel 4 years ago. I asked them to give a declaration. They're saying cancer is conquerable. They had another international meeting in the same hotel where we had more than 2,000 oncologists from around the world. They gave me a declaration saying cancer is conquerable, so curable. So I think this is what we hope, the first steps that you have taken, and our joining you in this effort goes towards this tremendous thing. Because this is one of the terrible things. You must have heard in Chennai, one student went for an exam, 15-year-old, and he died. The autopsy showed it was an acute myocardial infarction. In Delhi, we did a quadruple bypass for a 14-year-old whose father is an army personnel, a lieutenant in the army. And that's not it. We all said, cardiologists used to say, oh, you have still not got menopause, you need not be bothered about the heart attack. But all the newspapers published a wedding that took place. The bridegroom was 29, she was 28, and after the ceremony was over, when the priest said, go and look at the lucky star, the bride never got up. The mother quickly said, maybe they have poisoned my daughter. The autopsy showed there was acute MI. So I think this has become a great scare for people not knowing when it's going to come. But I think your solution, your contribution into this, when you bring it practically on the field, will make a very significant effect that we don't lose people. And what type of people are we losing? Because this is part of the entire thing which is the which has become, made healthcare very critical. The three-word disease, NCDs, non-communicable diseases. The diabetes, heart, strokes, cancer, and infections. And I add 2 more to that, obesity and nervous disorders, especially the sleeplessness. So I think these have become a huge threat for the people, to the governments, and to the world. Because it is not located only in India. The World Economic Forum said that 80% of the deaths by end of this decade is going to be from NCDs. Already in India, 60% of the deaths are from NCDs. And then they said the cost burden of this is going to be $30 trillion in the world, and for India it's going to be $4.8 trillion. That is 50% of GDP. When they announced all these wonderful programs, Ayushman Bharat, and the wellness centers and checkups, I told the government, I requested the government, please increase it from 1 to 3% of your GDP, and the public now is spending 5%. Thanks to whatever we have done in the early 80s, today 60% of our people are being looked after by this wonderful team of doctors across the country who are able to use all the technology that's available to them and certainly pick up a great knowledge and the skills to do the surgery. Previously it was only the surgeons. I compliment the cardiologists who are doing everything and probably challenging the surgeons then that they can do much more easily and send the patient home next day with very little risk. So I think this NCDs is a huge thing, and heart is part of it. Although the cancer doctors today are saying cancer is yesterday's cardiology, but still the largest number of deaths in India and the world still is cardiac deaths. So I think we need whatever we can do to mitigate this, and by the way you're all talking, if you can lead to that path to eliminate it, how wonderful that would be for each of that families, because nobody knows which family is going to be affected. I still know, after these two incidents, one of my friend's grandson in Hyderabad, in Bangalore, he plays tennis every day, 24-year-old. Our data and our doctors and our investigators will give us and add whatever is needed for that pro-health, and we hope will give pro-health for the country and for the world if we can save what we call the preventable deaths. I think this is where all of your efforts are admired. And some sanctions, especially, I must thank you for what we have signed today, but what we will do in Chittor. But you have already done something towards these NCDs. They presented us two buses with entire gamut of an ECG, X-ray machine, echocardiogram, mammogram, and all of it in a single bus. We had one before in Hyderabad, but that was not state-of-the-art. So they gave two state-of-the-art, one for North India, one for Chennai. We thank you for it. They have already done about 2,500 free patients, so it's almost getting ready. Our governor launched this year, and we hope to launch it in UP very soon, and we are grateful to you for Samsung. For this, I'm sure this will help us, saying that we will have many ways of reaching the people. So they're coming to our clinics. We will go to their workplace, and then we'll be able to do this, because I think this is very important. Because nobody knows that we hear that the marathon runners suddenly drop dead. There are about 80 million Indians who do they go to the gym, they do all the wellness programs, but still suddenly they drop dead. That is because they didn't know what is the state of their heart. Somehow, although I am very fond of telling this, a professor from Yale, way back 30 years ago, said our body is not just priceless, it has a price, and he described the role of each organ and put a price for it. Like for a brain, he said, there are 750 billion neurons, and put a price for that. He went on to the heart and said, this heart pumps for an adult for 30 miles a day, blood vessel, and from birth to the last breath, he put a price. Lungs, he said, 4 trillion cells who store away only the carbon dioxide from the body, and from this dirty air, it picks up only oxygen, put a price. You know what it all added up to? Some of you will know. It's not in lakhs, it's not in crores, it's not in billions. He said it costs $6,000 trillion. Will you repeat that for yourself? That you are worth $6,000 trillion. So don't you think you need to look after this? Yes or no? Yes. If you say yes, please clap. After that clap, I want you now, please close your eyes and repeat after me. I will certainly look after my body, my family's health, my society's health and friends. For our corporates, we'll have our corporates have their checkups done and their health looked after. We love ourselves and we love our family. Thank you. Thank you all very much. I think it's a very wonderful thing. All that I can say is thank you for the doctors who have done tremendous things and the doctors who are going to do many miracles. But I think we only to say there are support systems. Abbott is with us. Now Samson is with us, and this Genwork, because it was coming to be GE to me. Genworks, for all of you, a big thank you.